the core, I feel that we all seek beauty. At the core, I feel we all seek an aesthetic experience. In fact, one of my collaborators, Shabir, who's a municipal gardener, I've known him since 2014. He has this beautiful quote which came through the development of this show, where he says, "Zindagi to kitni haseen cheez hai, that life is such a beautiful gift. मगर ये क्या हमको वक्त बिताने को भी नहीं मिलता है." What he's saying is that we are so caught up in life that we do not engage with time in a way which is aesthetic. So I think the ultimate joy that I find in my work is all the people that I meet. These are people from different walks of life who don't expect me at the doorstep. So I think about myself as this uninvited guest, and as an artist, I have this absolute liberty to walk into any place I want and propose ludicrous, ideas. And in that process, I meet people, a lot of people reject me, but then I find people who are interested. And so even as I look back at all of this work, for me, it's actually about all of these individuals that I've met. And I get great joy in hanging out. Like, for me, that's also my social life. I find a lot more joy in meeting someone in a municipal office, and spending time with them, rather than, of course, you have your friends, you have your social life, but there is a certain performance within all of that at times, whereas finding people and hanging out with them and trying to, make this supposed thing called art, is the ultimate joy. In my early phase, I was trying to work with from masons to architects to rock blasting engineers, and a lot of the work happened by me just spending time in their places of work. And I think that investment of time is really important. That's where you open up a space for collaboration. And this led to not just a sort of participation by these collaborators, but an aesthetic participation where they became stakeholders in the work. They had an investment and authorship, which perhaps had a certain cultural value. And that led to a kind of work, an approach which I label as working with found processes. So found processes is not what I produce, rather found processes are what I identify as potential material, because a process that is ongoing in the city doesn't need me. It's already like on a roll by itself. This could be demolition, or this could be municipal maintenance of gardening. And my approach or my strategy was, how do I come and align myself with this process as ongoing? And every project has a different, a turn. So I would like to also think about the studio not being a site just of excessive production. I've always valued having this time when you do nothing, put together your thoughts, and having that gap within the city as a dedicated space has been important for me. And the studio perhaps is that place of respite. If you look at the work such as Gallery 354, which is currently showing in the exhibition, is actually the size of my studio in New York. And that work came together because I had a studio for a couple of years, and the engagement with the studio itself is part of the work. I have an interest in drawing, in movement and line, and recently I've produced a series of works which look at resting bodies in public spaces and green spaces in the UAE. And this body of work has emerged from a film that I made called Dohrana, which the choreography of the film emerged from studying how the migrant workforce rests in these green spaces. And I've always had an interest in pigment and surface, is also a very traditional approach to painting and mark making. So short circuits, I'm really glad this exhibition's come together. It's been a lovely surprise. It's also a lovely, I would say, pit stop, a departure point for me to now see where else I want to go. But short circuits is, of course, looking back at a body of work I've produced in the UAE for many years, and the curators Don and Lucas who I've known. And a short circuit essentially means when two points in a circuit that are not supposed to collide somehow collide. And I see myself as this catalyst who makes these short circuits possible. And what happens when these 2 points, meet? There's a potential in that, and perhaps my work is a way of finding those potentials, putting pressures on the circuit to open up these gaps within these systems. It's also a term that Zizek uses a lot, where he talks about how the minor puts pressure on the major through these short circuits. And the show is looking at unpacking how I navigate through the city. In a way, it is a mapping of how I am negotiating through different departments, through different communities, through different systems in the city. And so Short Circuits is a complex show which somehow assembles these very disparate approaches that I have managed to develop by engaging with the UAE through different approaches and through different lenses of looking at what surrounds me. The very environment I live in has become my site of investigation over the years.